So many big electric vehicles, but what about the small ones? Finally, there will be another one here, the Cupra Urban Rebel. This will be the first small EV by the VW Group. So is it something like a electric Polo GTI? We'll find out more right now with Thomas and Autogefühl. You can see here the Cupra Urban Rebel, so far an early stage, but we will continue the coverage throughout on our channel if you've subscribed. A very sporty front, a lot of curved lines, really strong performance character. Here, by the way, this looks like carbon fiber, but they don't build on carbon, but use a natural fiber for that. Sustainability is also a key thing about this vehicle, but of course also design. They have this illuminated Cupra logo here in the front. We'll see if this one will be allowed then also on, for example, German or European markets. It really depends on market regulations. They also introduce a new design scheme here in the front with the lamps. See, they're always like these triangular features. This will be a new Cupra design scheme throughout the whole brand. In the side profile you can see it is indeed a short vehicle. It's not too low. It has this, I would say, like crossover character. Here in this early stage vehicle, 21-inch wheels, really massive styling. The rear car will probably come with some smaller wheels, but nowadays we see, of course, bigger and bigger wheels. Here you can see once again these crossover claddings here in that natural carbon fiber look, so to speak, and really stylish side mirrors here. Everything is also set here on this design scheme. Look at that, it's a blacked out A-pillar. And I'm not sure if you can really see it, but when you combine this area here, the glass area, blacked out A-pillar, and then here, it looks like a motorcycle helmet. Do you see that? Do you see a motorcycle helmet? Tell me in the comments if you really see that. And here in the side profile, if you can take a look, the length actually is just 4 meters 04 or 159 inches. So indeed, this is the length of a VW Polo. Acceleration figure will be 6.9 seconds. If you compare a Polo GTI, it's 6.5, so then a little bit slower. It is sitting on the MEB platform, the modular electric building platform of the VW Group. In this case, however, it's not rear-wheel drive, but it's front-wheel driven. I asked them why, and the first answer was actually for packaging reasons, that they have a little bit more space available here in the rear, and for the rear seats in the trunk and so on. But still, I would say when you do this performance EV style, you could have made it rear-wheel drive. So I would prefer the rear-wheel drive here, as it is also for the Cupra Born, for example, for that compact segment vehicle. Here then the small segment, and you can see that the window line is raising here. It looks really coupe shape alike, so this overall design really dramatic. The charge port, by the way, is here in the front. That's very interesting, also here with this touch sensor. Also, of course, DC charging figures are out now, not yet out, and the whole vehicle also like these things and so on. Don't they remind you a little bit of the Lotus Electra, like this Lotus supercar EV we've recently seen? We also have a video of that. This really seems to be like a small version of that. Well, it looks like that the small EV for everyone will also look like a supercar in the rear, right? Won't it? Interesting light signatures here, and also this very cool tribal-like illuminated logo. I think in this way it also makes sense when you really style the car in that dramatic way. Why not being a little bit more joyful? And the sister model, for example, that might be, for example, the VW ID.2 will then be a little bit more conservative, and Cupra will take over the role to be the more dramatic sister or brother in the design. Why not actually? And also in the rear here, in the lower part, like this diffuser look, probably won't be that dramatic in the very final model, but Cupra have told us that the way we see the car here at this moment is already quite close to production. So indeed, it won't change that much in design, and that will be, of course, something really remarkable. Battery sizes are not out yet, and there will still be some development, but at this moment our first estimate is that the range will be somewhat a little bit less than 400 kilometers or 250 miles. We'll see about that and keep you updated, of course. Let's move to the interior. You can see here, this does offer a soft close even, so haven't seen it in this segment yet. That's funny, right? And then there will be like this function, you see here, this mark, and this will be then the possibility to open the door actually. And well, the interior might not be super fine, but we see a lot of solutions that will come to the car. Well, this is of course the most obvious thing, that steering wheel here, and they want to bring together gaming and racing world. And definitely here you see these, gaming gauges here, left and right. It's a funny idea because you get something that you're used to maybe from gaming controllers to the car. Why not being so joyful for that? Here for electric boost function, for example, directly at the steering wheel to be able to control very well. Already at the inside of the doors with a lot of interesting materials. The whole car is animal free, so you can say that the car is vegan from the interior, by the way. Here also fabric, it's all done by recycled materials. So really moving forward the brand to sustainability. Here also structured surfaces. So even though when some surfaces are hard pack, they bring premium touch to it because it has a structured surface. That's a very cool idea. And you see here, there's some screens. I'm not sure if you can see this, like like this illumination already again at the inside of the doors. This will also be a big theme of the vehicle, that you can have, something is alive. That is something they want to create right here. As for the seats, this is also a leatherette material, a new one, contrast stitches, really soft also for the touch, and then they used more recycled fabrics here. Very interesting look here with the contrasting yellow. And then this one here is actually from 3D printing, so that they can use less materials, actually be more useful, making more use of the resources, and also to speed up the whole development process. So very interesting touch here to the interior. I expect the final version to be a little bit less dramatic, but the whole scheme, of this more enclosed look, a very sporty atmosphere, this will remain the same. Then these instruments, you can see there's like this demo movie here, and you can have some augmented reality arrows inside. That looks really, really fancy, and you have this split view, the big one in the middle. And on the outside you have the more or less classic gauges for here the power boost. On the right side, then the opposite side will be the speed. So this is also an interesting new idea. The shifting stall column is right below that. You can turn it then to put in the gears. And there's not like a simple head-up display, because when you look here above, you already see some more lighting effect, and it will be, there it is, all around the vehicle basically. So not a single head-up display, but like a head-up windscreen, we could call it like this. And then you can have, for example, arrow commands there, which direction to turn in. You can maybe also project the speed there. So this is a very interesting new approach we haven't seen yet in this way. And maybe also some warnings, like exit warnings then on the side and so on. In this case, it looks a little bit more, from gaming once again. But hey, why not? Then the central infotainment. There we go, yeah. Then central infotainment, this in the demo mode at this moment. We see there are still temperature sliders, but they're at least backlit now. So we can also expect these to show up in like VW ID.3, ID.4, ID.5, and so on very soon. So then the backlit temperature sliders and the infotainment system with a common size, some hotkeys, and actually a very nice resolution. So this is to come. Oh, and have you seen that in the middle part, a little bit lower? This is like the Cupra Energy beverage. Maybe they'll also launch an energy drink brand alongside that. In this case, for demo reasons, here for the cup holders. And below that, you can see they use this new kind of copper tone. You guys want some light on there? Yeah, that's better, right? So there you can see it has an interesting new copper touch to it. And then it dissolves basically into the rest again. So I would like to know from you guys, do you like this dramatic design on the interior? Tell me in the comments. Rear door, also this nice structured patterns here. And by the way, I'm not sure if you've seen it in the front, but this is actually the door opener. So hashtag capacitive BS door opener. Yeah, we leave it like this. Then here you have the window control. So this then for raising or hiring lowering the window. Here you can see the floor, by the way, also has the Cupra logos. Why not? I mean, I like these playful designs, and if people like it, they can also make it to the very final design. And the same leatherette seats here in the rear with the contrast stitches. And how much space will that be? Because that's the thing here. I mean, we've seen the floor, the batteries are in the very bottom center of the vehicle, and so the floor in the rear is actually very plain and even. Look at that. So there's no middle tunnel whatsoever. So really using this EV platform. Hello, hello. So as for the legroom, this is actually totally fine, and this is really showing this EV platform used, because in the Polo I can hardly sit behind the seat as I would, and this is also like it can't be changed in the angle at this moment. Looks really cool right here, like very sculptural. Headroom wise, actually it does work for 4 tall adults. Me with 1m89 or 6'2", it gets close though because of this coupe shape. But actually this is also the reason they went for a rather crossover look, because they have the battery then in the lower part, and then they make the car a little bit more higher, urban crossover, small SUV style, to be able to offer exactly this kind of headroom here. And at the moment the seat surface is a little bit stiff, so this will be softer cushions then in the final version. In the middle part is not that well to sit. This is more like a single seat setup, but you can also have the middle seat, and then for short periods of time you can actually house 5 tall adults. As for the boot or trunk opening, you just use your hand here as a sensor. Now it was unlocked. In the final version it will also lift automatically. Now in this case here, since an early vehicle, I help a little bit. This is the only thing that will be different. You see it's rather tiny now, this trunk area. This will be bigger in the final version because there's some prototype tech hidden underneath this cover. But the scheme we already see is that they rather put emphasis on space on the rear seats, and prefer that in comparison to using more trunk space. So this is supposed to be an urban vehicle where you use more space for the people on the inside. Definitely super interesting. When will it be released? Should be on the roads in 2025. And would you actually go for this kind of urban electric vehicle, the small one? Tell me in the comments. And also compare the Cupra Born, the compact model that is already on the market. And we also have a video of the VW ID.2, how that one could look like.